Welcome to Section 2. In this section, we're going to talk about how to make predictions with linear regression. Specifically, in this section, we're going to take a look at how to understand linear regression theory. After that, we're going to have a video on how to use simple linear regression to predict salary. From there, we're going to move on to multiple linear regression, and again, we'll show how to use this technique to predict salary. After that, we're going to talk about another type of linear regression. In this case, it's going to be stepwise linear regression, and we're going to use it to predict waste. From there, we're going to move on and talk about how to test linear regression's assumptions. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to incorporate categorical variables by creating dummy variables. In this video, we're going to talk about how to understand linear regression theory. Linear regression is going to allow you to study the relationship between a set of predictors and an outcome variable. Now, these set of predictors can be things like, for example, SAT scores and high school grades, and the outcome variable might be first-year college GPA. Now, the thing about linear regression is that it's going to allow you to see the relationship between this set of predictors, and they can be many predictors, and see how they relate to the outcome variable. So we can see if one variable increases or decreases, how it relates to the outcome variable, for example. Now, linear regression models and statistical models in general are great as long as you meet their assumptions. But they are going to have requirements in, for example, linear regression is going to assume that you have a linear relationship between your outcome variable and your predictors. Now, the hypotheses for linear regression, because it is a statistical model, it's going to have a null hypothesis. And the null hypothesis is that the combination of predictors are not linearly related to the outcome variables. Basically, the variables are independent. They're not at all associated. The alternative hypothesis, or your research hypothesis, is that the combination of predictors are linearly related to the outcome variables, meaning that the variables are associated with each other, that they are dependent on each other. So again, because this is a statistical model, you're going to have hypotheses. Now, in terms of linear regression, what you're going to have is you're going to have a formula. The formula in general is going to be y, which is your dependent variable, is going to be equal to a, which is a constant, plus b, which is the slope of your predictor multiplied by the predictor itself. So in this example, we're looking at the relationship between income and claim amount. And you can see that we have a relationship between these two variables. And you can see that as we increase in income, we're also increasing in claim amount. And this relationship is following a general straight line pattern, so it is a linear relationship. And therefore, we can use linear regression. So what we're seeing here is that as income increases, claim amounts are increasing as well. And so what you'll be able to see ultimately with linear regression is that once you know the income of someone, and you multiply it by the slope that was found by the model itself, and you add a constant to it, you're going to be able to come up with a claim amount.